A Philadelphia couple has been charged in the killing of a 4-year-old boy. Police say the pair admitted to beating the boy to death after he spilled his cereal back in January. Our Anita O has that story.
Investigators described living conditions inside this home on the 1800 block of Lukens Avenue in Willow Grove as deplorable.
There were insects and roaches in the house.
But even more despicable is the alleged abuse that went on inside, according to Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin Steele, who was visibly emotional during a Friday press conference.
This was a violent, sustained beating of a 4-year-old that caused his death.
Prosecutors say after admitting to spilling his cereal on the morning of January 22nd, 4-year-old Tajir Smith died from a brutal beating at the hands of his own mother, 19-year-old Lisa Smith, and her 26-year-old boyfriend, Keith King.
Someone who would do that is an animal. To do that to your child or to do that to anybody but your own child and allowed someone to do that to your child, it's just unthinkable.
Charlie Evans says he has lived in this neighborhood for 50 years and would see the boy playing from time to time.
Still, after all these months, still shock and disbelief that this little boy had to go through that torture and, none of us could see or understand that it was even happening.
A forensic pathologist found the 4-year-old died of multiple blunt and thermal injuries and shock after reportedly being forced to hold a push-up position for a long period of time. When he couldn't, prosecutors say his mother and her boyfriend hit him on the head and struck his body repeatedly with a sandal.
Striking his body so hard that there were pattern imprints on the boy's buttocks when the police were finally called.
King also admitted to throwing the boy under a scalding shower, which an expert later discovered burned the boy's shoulder. Authorities say the autopsy also revealed old rib fractures, indicating this deadly beating was not the first.
Both King and Smith face first-degree murder charges and remain in jail without the possibility of bail. Reporting in Willow Grove, Anita O, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wake Up Report. And 90s babies, the most useless, violent, self-destructive generation of blacks in the history of Black America. I haven't done a 90s baby story in quite a while, but these two jackasses bring the forum back in style. These shows always piss me off, man. They really piss me off, and I've been doing a good job so far. Is holding down all the cursing and stuff like that. But what the fuck is wrong with you bitches? Huh? What's wrong with you? Why do you bring these no good loser ass men into your lives and give them authority over your children? I don't understand that with all of this social media. And I mean, these people this age, these 90s babies, they live on the internet. They live on Facebook. They live on Instagram. There isn't any way, there's no way possible that you cannot see stories of boyfriends beating their girlfriends' children to death. And you have a child, and this stuff still goes on. It makes absolutely no sense. What is it that you bitches don't get about these ignorant Negroes? That you bring them into your lives. They have nothing to offer you. They don't pay for anything. They don't provide anything. They live off of you like leeches. And then when they go ham on your children, especially when you aid them in doing it, that's the part about this story that kills me, and other ones that I've done too, is you aid these ignorant men into helping murder your children. And in this case, you murdered a child because they dropped some cereal on the floor, because they do what kids do. They make mistakes and they learn from their mistakes. And boy, oh boy, did this kid learn the hard way from his mistakes. This absolutely makes no sense. You better be glad that I don't have control of this country, because the first thing that I would institute are child protection laws. And when stuff like this goes down, it is the automatic death penalty for you. I don't care why you did it. I don't care how mad you were when you did it. Reflect on it while you're waiting on that electric chair, while you're waiting for that lethal cocktail, or while you are waiting to have the same thing done to you that you did to that child, because that's how I would handle this. After I do exactly to you what you did to that child, I will ask you, based on what I just did to you, which is beat you for no good reason because you dropped something, threw you in a scalding hot shower. What should the punishment be for somebody who does something like that? And if you lie to me, or in this case, I don't even care if you tell me the truth, I'm gonna kill your ass anyway. Donald Trump is about to send 4,000 troops to the Mexican border to keep what he claims to be violent, drug-headed, rapist, violent immigrants out of the United States. What about the violent people that are already here? How much is this going to cost the taxpayers to send 4,000 troops to babysit the Mexican border when you already have people there and you do nothing for these children? You do nothing about the violence that's already here. The threat is not coming from the outside. The threat is already here on the inside. You go ahead and you build that wall, and all you're going to do is successfully wall in Americans with violent Americans. It's not going to stop anything. You need to focus on what's going on in this country. Quit worrying about something else that's going on someplace else, and whether or not you're going to keep it from crossing the border, whether or not you're going to keep all the bad drugs. Drugs are bad. Bad drugs, they bring rape and bad drugs into the United States. What about people like this who beat children to death for dropping cereal on the floor and throw them into hot scalded showers? And you don't have anything to say about this. Absolutely stupid. And I hope somebody from Black Lives Matter hears this. I hope you hear it. I hope Al Sharpton hears it. I hope all of you hear it. You can kiss my ass. You can kiss my ass because you don't care about black people. All you care about is hustling black folks for all of the money you can get out of them. All you do is take advantage of black people's anger, misguided anger, because blacks murder more blacks, way more than the police murder blacks. You take up for these thugs and these punks that are out here causing trouble, and when the cops roll up on them and shoot them and kill them, you want to march and point your fingers all and show up on TV acting stupid and all this mess, but you do nothing when little black kids are being murdered by black people, when they're being beaten to death and thrown in the scalding hot showers and raped and molested and brutalized. How come you don't show up and protest against that? How come you don't mention anything about black on black violence and how it is worse than any white police officer will ever be when it comes to black people? We are our own worst enemies. And I hope the cops keep gunning you niggas down until there are none of you left. And then we can move on with niggas like this who like to beat and murder up on children. Black America, you really get off on talking about how violent white people are and how vicious white people are and how evil white people are and how white people do all kind of disgusting things to their children. Blah, blah, blah. White people, white, white. And you don't want to do anything about the sickness and the poison and the filth that's in every black community in the United States of America. You always want to talk about somebody else, but you don't have the guts to confront what's going on in your own neighborhoods, what's going on in your own communities, all of the rape, all of the child molestation, all of your beating up on your senior citizens, murdering and brutalizing your children. You don't want to confront that. So those evil white cops that you love to talk about, those evil white police that Black Lives Matter love to show up and protest against, I hope they keep whooping your asses until you get the message. Clean up your own backyard before you expect somebody else to clean up theirs. I hope I make enough money one day that I can run for some type of political office with the intent on losing. I know I'm not going to win. I only want to run so I can publicly say everything that I say on my show so everybody can hear it, so every news affiliate can pick it up. I want to be able to say publicly across this country and across the world, fuck these niggas. They're a problem and they need to be gotten rid of. And people like this who murder their own children, who beat their own children, who abuse their own children, they get absolutely no mercy from me. So you can pile them all up in a big truck, a big dumpster, whatever it is. You can ship them over to Al Sharpton and you could dump them on his doorstep, since he likes to take up for people like this, because he sure don't speak out against them. Black Lives Matter sure don't speak out against them. The garbage mainstream media doesn't speak out against him. As a matter of fact, I bet you if some white cops rolled up on him while he was beating that kid and while she was beating that kid and torturing that kid, and they shot him, mainstream media would come back with unarmed black man shot by the police. 90s babies, the most useless, violent, self-destructive generation of blacks in the history of Black America. They are worse than the Ku Klux Klan. They are worse than any racist white cop will ever be. And you better be glad I'm not running the show, because I'd be the first to tell you, God forgive you, for you know not what you do, but while you're on planet Earth, your ass belongs to me. This is KTM and the Wake Up Report saying, think a little bit. It will do wonders for you.